Episode number 363.
So I try to stay conscious of that and live in the moment. I try not to live too much in the future. I definitely don't live in the past because you can't change that. I made a lot of mistakes. So really life is just a series of moments. There is no future. It's just now.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is always fired up, ready to bring you a little fuego in your days, nights, weekends, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, I think you're going to want to think about going on podcasts. I think you're going to want to think about your engagement and how you market your brand and business different, because I'm bringing you a legend in the game, my dude, Mr. Kenny Jordan. Kenny, are you ready to be real?
Always, brother, always.
Let's go. Another great dude in the game. Grew up here in Fresno, California, growing the businesses. And I've seen this gentleman grow his business tremendously over the years. First, most, he's a father, which you have to always give respect to, as I am as well. Papa entrepreneur. And he has developed an incredible business with the Newcast Media Group, using technology and using basically the fact that you can do anything now with digital. And he's helping clients in many different ways, help basically drive more business to their, and as we know, we all need a little bit more business. But then my dude, hit the line on the head here with the podcast business, and that podcasts are becoming huge. And as we know, more and more agencies are reaching out to my show, and more people are actually representing guests to get them on shows. And Kenny is one of the brainchilds of iLuv podcast, which helps people get on shows. Do you want to get on a podcast? Do you want to get represented and get on a show? Sometimes these things take a while. Sometimes people forget. You don't get just hop on Joe Rogan's show. You got to pitch this guy. You got to, nurture the relationship before you hop on a show. But a lot of times you can get on a show. And it's guys like Kenny and great businesses that like iLuv podcast that help you do this. So Kenny, take me back into your time in history, my dude. Were you always interested in running businesses? Were you always interested in selling things, to hustle?
Yeah, I was, man. And to be honest with you, what drove me at a very young age is I always knew I wanted to be a great father. That was always the first and foremost foundation. I never met my dad, so that was kind of something I always felt I can give the world that I didn't take from it. So as I thought about ways to be a good dad, I'd see, all my friends, their parents, they always had to work for somebody. They always, somebody else controlled their time. And so I always thought, if my kids are going to do sports, I want to be involved in their lives. So I'm going to need to find something that I can control my time. And entrepreneurship was always kind of the thing for that. So I knew that I wanted to do entrepreneurship. I just didn't know what the product would be, what the service would be, or what would go in part with it. I just knew that I had to get there somehow.
And tell me about at what moment did you have the breakthrough with the Newcast? Tell us about the idea. Tell us about kind of the services and where it started, and then obviously where you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, with Newcast, my brother, he had worked out a deal with a large medical facility here, and basically this is about 14 years ago. And we talked to him about putting large flat screens in all of their waiting rooms. So they have a bunch of waiting rooms. So we basically installed 12 flat screens in there. We put together a bunch of different types of medical content, and then we reached out to local businesses that might want to reach out, might want to advertise to the patients and family members as they waited for their doctor. So we actually had huge success with that. Nobody was doing it at the time. Now, a lot of them are doing it. So got into that, and that kind of got the ball rolling. And I found myself, gaining trust with these clients. I had clients I was working with a long time, and they needed other services. They needed other things done. I had already built the rapport. And so I said, how can I learn some of these other services so that I'm not just kind of stuck to this one service? So I had a good buddy that was doing, social media, and that was kind of cutting edge at that point. I was on there engaging with my friends, but I didn't really look at it from a business aspect. So he kind of took me in, mentored me, and showed me the ropes. And so from there, I learned as much as I could about that. Then I found people that knew as much as they possibly could, and had integrity about websites and online advertising and different things, in the marketing field. And I just developed good relationships with people that were the best at what they did, so that I can just kind of focus on building that relationship, and then build a large team so that we can offer multiple services. And that's kind of when that started taking off. And then here recently, about a year ago, I mean, I've been into podcasts, 3 years, 4 years, from Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan, Entrepreneur on Fire. These are things that I've always enjoyed, and I always take away from them. And so, obviously, it's in my opinion, it's the future of advertising, and the future is kind of already here in a sense. Obviously, social media, all the other things, they work great. They serve their purpose, and I love them, and they work for my clients. But podcasting, it offers something a little bit different. You have a little more time. You can really get to know somebody, and you can really build your brand through talking about it for 30 minutes, as opposed to just a picture and some wording scrolling across your news feed. So,
and it's long tail too, Kenny. It's long tail. It lasts forever, y'all. It's out there forever. You forget that this is a great opportunity for your business brand, personality, to challenge yourself. If you're not able to challenge yourself to get out and advertise, you want to put yourself in advertising positions, right? Run ads, run clicks to my website. Okay. But no one gets to know who the owner of brands are. And that's why for the last 9 years, for instance, on the Be Real show, and 387 episodes now or so to go, people come on and they want to talk about their story, and they're on because usually an agency got them on, or because I reached out to them and then they got me to their agency, blah, blah, blah. So the whole point is this has always been represented. People get people on Good Morning America. People get someone on a big radio show, Howard Stern or something. And now podcasts are just kind of niched out. A lot more of them, right? There's a lot more of them. But then also the beauty is that someone that listens to a certain show that Maui just really synergizes with that kind of audience. And so you're not wasting money trying to reach out to a bunch of just big opportunities that a lot of times you're not going to even get on. Most people are not going to get on Good Morning America. Most people are not going to get on even their local news, but you can use podcasts to position yourself even in a local marketplace, or as a little professional, in your marketplace, hopping on all the accounting podcasts, or hopping on if you're a funeral director, hopping on all the damn funeral podcasts you can be on. You'd be surprised how niched out these things are. And so that's kind of the beauty of it. But on the other side of the business, Kenny, on the Newcast side, talk to us about the types of clients you guys really synergize with. What are the type of clients you really love working with, so we can gravitate them to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch on one thing that you said that I really like is the longevity of the podcast. And it's so true. You can pay for a Google ad, and as soon as your money's up, that ad is not going to run anymore. When I started listening to Tim Ferriss 3 years ago, the first thing I did is I went back to episode 1 and I listened to all of them all the way through. And so when you go on a podcast, it could be right now, or it could be 3 to 5 years later that somebody stumbles across you. And that's something not any other advertising mean can really offer. But yeah, so as far as the synergy, what I've been fortunate enough to get to the point now where I have clients all over the world, and I'm not out there trying to pay rent every day. And so what that allows me to do is it allows me to maintain integrity and work with people that I really feel that I can help, or that I want to help. And if I don't believe in the business, I can pass them on to somebody that I know would help them and be good for them. But I have the ability to work with companies that I truly believe in. And when you can do that, the synergy is unbelievable. I have clients that I've had for 8, 9, 10 years because of that. So
important.
Right. And it takes a while to get to. And I pray to God that I'm able to stay here. We were able to weather the pandemic but being able to really just kind of pick and choose who you work with, it allows you to do things that you're really passionate about, instead of just kind of throwing together a marketing campaign for somebody just to collect a commission or an income, and to me, that's huge.
And because you're a dad too, as I know, you have these time moments are priceless. And so, the kids grow up, the kids get older, and they're gone. And so at some point, you can, at 20 years from now or 10 years from now, you could be hustling in many different ways more than you have now, because you don't have the time, and you want to spend the time with the kids, watching them grow, watching them develop. And like I said, that's a big part of being a pop entrepreneur, is you're not necessarily, the reward isn't always necessarily coming in today as much as it's going to come in, both in the relationship you have, and then Hey, the hustle will always be there, man. I mean, for most of us, so.
Right. And not only watching them, but they're watching you. They're watching everything that you're doing, and they're seeing you plant something and water it every day, and nurture it and grow it. Growing a business, there's so many things that unforeseen things that pop up, and so they get to see how you react to, because it's life, right? I mean, that's how life is, and so they get to see, how you react to it, positive, negative, what it does to you, how it affects you, and I think that has a big impact on their psyche subconsciously.
So vital, bro. Shout out to the OG pop entrepreneurs out there. And if you aren't a pop entrepreneur, lean in, baby. Lean into that, because there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Or maybe you are and you don't know it yet.
Maybe you are and you don't know it. And maybe you don't ever want to be a pop entrepreneur, but just lean into being a papa. That's all I have to say about that. Lean to be a dad. Well, my man, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready? Always, he says. Apple or Android?
Ooh, I was Android. I moved over to Apple about a year ago, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
There we go, baby.
People always told me it integrates with your things, and I was just always like, well, Android. And then once I went to an Apple, man, I don't think I'll go back. And I love the fact that they're very serious about not sharing your data.
Yeah.
One of the only one.
They got the sandbox. They got the sandbox technology to kind of prevent crazy viruses and things like that Android does not have at hold. It's a kind of an open source technology, so anyone can kind of tap into that. As I've learned a little bit, it's crazy. Netflix or YouTube if you're thinking about relaxing content, things like that.
Okay, so I go to YouTube for my comedy, my news, things like that. Cooking, I like recipes. As I get older, I start doing more boring stuff, so recipes is a big one of them.
Love that.
And I go to Netflix at the end of the night when I've had a long day and I really just don't want to think about work anymore. I just want to let my mind go to mush, get lost in the show. So Netflix at night, and then YouTube will be more during the day.
Love that. Instagram or Facebook? Which is your favorite social platform?
Oh man, well I started with Facebook, so that's I'm more comfortable with it, but I like Instagram because it's more fluid. And it seems like there's less complaining on Instagram,
less sharing of articles and less sharing of news things and
right. A little more kind of like the Netflix versus the YouTube,
Right. That's very true. That's a good point. That's kind of a good perspective. Facebook does deliver a lot more news these days. Chicken or steak if you're thinking about a good meal?
Oh man, well, chicken has the protein that I like, but a steak, if it's I'd have to go with steak. If I'm out at a restaurant on a date,
hell yeah.
I'm gonna go with steak.
Steak, baby. Wine and dine. Why not? A laptop or smartphone if you got to get out the door right now?
If I prefer my laptop, but I mean, I can do most of the stuff from my smartphone. So if I know I'm going to do work, then I'll take my laptop. But my smartphone, I'm always working from my smartphone. If you're at a kid's tennis match or something and you got to get something done right away, yes. Luckily you can still do it. But I would prefer to use the laptop.
Right.
Either way, you got to get it done, right?
Hey, that's the beauty about these damn phones is you can get a lot of things done on them. Spotify or Pandora if you're thinking about content, podcasts or things like that.
Well, Pandora is kind of like the OG. The
OG, yes, they are. They are the OG.
Came in and kind of took Pandora's, stuff. So Spotify, they're doing some big things. They're making a lot of moves in the entertainment field, but it's hard to turn your back on an original.
On the OG.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna stay neutral on that one, man. I think
dog. We're not gonna offend anybody. I want
to thank Pandora for Spotify.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I like that. Reading books or listening to books? If you're thinking about education content.
Yeah, I listen to audiobooks all the time, mainly because they have something called Automobile University, and I learned it a long time ago. And it's basically like instead of knowing the lyrics to 80,000 songs, if you listen to a book in your field every day while you're driving, it's the equivalent of taking a semester of college. And So I love podcasts, but audio, as far as books, if it's self-help stuff, I go with the audio. But then at night, I like to read kind of the fictional stuff. Again, kind of like the Netflix, just to get my mind off of things. So if it's fictional or something like that, then I'll read on my
on a physical book. I like it. And if you're thinking about investing, stocks or real estate?
Oh man, it's hard. Stocks is in my mind. Stocks is always there, but it's something in the cloud as opposed to. I guess if you stripped away money and everything else, real estate would be the only thing that had value. You know what I mean? And I think that's why all these people are snatching up all the real estate because, if it collapse our dollar and then we go to Bitcoin and somehow if the whole world comes to an end, it's going to be land and real estate. And so, yeah, I'd probably say real estate. I would do better with real estate. Stocks is more of a gamble for me.
You can always live in real estate too. So that's a good thing.
But that's why you diversify, right? Do a little bit of both.
Got it all, baby. Got it all. And if you want to take a vacation, would you want to choose an ocean or a lake?
Ocean or a lake? Man. A lake sounds nice if there's a nice cabin around it, more peaceful.
Yeah, there you go. Relaxing.
I picture the ocean. I picture more like, Mai Tais and sitting by the beach and then the lake, I picture more. Yes, I guess it depends on what mood I was in. But if I had to spend the rest of my life at one, it would definitely be the lake.
Yeah, serenity, peaceful, relaxing.
Yes.
When you're waking up in your morning, Kenny, you're getting yourself ready for your day, pumped, energized. Why do you love being you?
Well, I love being me because I can't be anybody else. So and I don't want to be anybody else.
I love that, bro.
I've been with me my whole life. I know myself better than anybody, and
yes.
I love the fact that I can just kind of set goals and look at how I'm doing and hold it up against the goal and where I want to be and make changes. I think a lot of people get stuck in who they are and think that that's who they have to be. And I was lucky enough to learn that you can slowly become who you want to be. And so that's why I enjoy that.
So important, dude, to look at your weaknesses and also just like get better. Like it's so important. Like in general in life, anyone listening, embrace that, embrace the weakness and then look at like, how can I just work at it? How can I even learn about it? How can I do it? If I've never been on a podcast or you never had a podcast show, you got to record a few, you got to keep on recording and then push to meet new people. Cause then, at the end of the day, like for me, 287 people, I don't know any of these people, most of them. And for the most part, they don't know me. Maybe they've listened to a couple shows to prep themselves, etc. And we're starting a conversation, but then it's like record. And then all of a sudden, we're trying to build some camaraderie, friendship, value, testimony. And then at the end of the day, hopefully some action in their business, maybe in some cases where someone's going to listen and say, hey, I want to have Kenny help me manage my, my facility. I need help with this, or I need help with digital, or I need help getting on podcasts, or for the past guest, blah, blah, blah. And so I think it's very important to remember that. Do you have a routine to start your day? Do you have a routine that gets you going for your day?
Yeah. So now, well, it kind of changes. I always try to evaluate it. So ideally I would wake up and start journaling and kind of getting that going. But depending on what kind of deadlines I have, a lot of times right now I'll wake up about 5:30. I'll head over to Starbucks and kind of work there. I work from home. And so, it gets kind of, I get tired of being in my house.
Get out, get some different views.
There's people around, even if I don't talk to them, it's being around people. So I'll work there till about 8, and then I'll go to the gym, just kind of break it up, come back, then I'll work throughout the day, and then usually I have like a kid's tennis match or something around 3 or 4.
Nice.
And then I might go take like a cycling class, and then I'll actually head back over to Starbucks and work. And now I have my kids half the time, so those are days that I don't have my kids. Days that I have my kids, I usually just try to work before they wake up, and then we're out doing fun stuff, as much as possible. Because I know on my deathbed, I'm not going to wish that I got more work done. I'll wish I had more time with them. So I really try to keep that at the forefront of my mind. And I try to remember that they're the reason that I work in the first place, So it's that balance, always trying to find that balance. And I'm trying to get better at just looking at every moment in my day and say, is this moving me towards my goal or taking me away? If it's taking me away, I need to do something else. If it's moving me towards, do more of it, and being conscious of that is what I'm working on.
It's very important. We all get distracted. Indistractable is a book. It's all about the distractions, pings and dings and phones and emails and everything in life, So good job, brother, to have that balance, to keep that hard line on family is so important. I'm trying to keep that every day as well. I think it's so important for us pop entrepreneurs to keep that hard line, and that in our deathbed, we're not going to regret, working more. We're going to want to spend in and lean into the moments we had as we see our little kiddos grow up and become adults on their own. And I love that about you, brother. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite app on your phone? Is there a favorite app or tool that you like running your business?
I love Evernote. Evernote's great because I can have all my notes in one place. And there's so many times that because a client will send me an email and say, hey, we need to put $1,000 towards this. I want to do a marketing campaign. I want to start here. These are the things. This is that. All I do is I copy and paste that, put it into my Evernote, so that when we're ready to start working on it, I have it right there, as opposed to looking through my emails and so forth. So off the top of my head, Evernote is great. And then on the social side, Sprout Social, Hootsuite, different things like that really kind of help me, manage multiple accounts without, spending too much time.
It's more efficient. We'll just say it's more efficient on those platforms. And if you could chop it up with anyone in the world to a steak dinner, who you want to sit down with and chop it up with?
Dead or alive?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Probably Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, dude. Yeah. Incredible.
I have so many questions about, obviously what he's done and the great thing, but I would also like to ask him how he felt about what he sacrificed to do that, because he gave the world so much. But if you look at his family life, his kids barely knew him. Yeah. And so, for me, that would be too much of a price to pay. Right. And so I would like to ask him now, looking back in hindsight, would you have done things differently? Yeah. Or, because he was so driven. And the things he did are remarkable, amazing. But for someone like me and probably you, I wouldn't be able or willing to sacrifice, my family life for those things. So I'd like to see how he felt about it now.
It's interesting, dude. Yeah. I mean, some of the greatest ones, they just know how to stay. They're willing to make that sacrifice.
Right. Or they don't know they're making it.
They don't know. It's just their mindset. It's just the reality. It's just their motivation and you wouldn't say it's wrong in many cases, because they're doing it for the greater cause of what they want to do. They're not doing it, doing illegal substances or spending it on, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They are spending too much time at work, but that could be the same thing in the end of the day. You don't know. And I think it's a good perspective.
Like we talked about when, because he died of cancer, so he was on his deathbed and he has family there. And do you think he was thinking about, the iPad 4, the next edition of the iPad, or do you think he was looking at his family saying, I wish I had more time with you guys, loved one? Yeah. So that's, I always try to keep, I picture, there's a Zen thing, there's a bird on your shoulder asking you, is today your day to die?
Sure.
What I mean? So I try to stay conscious of that and live in the moment. I try not to live too much in the future. I definitely don't live in the past, because you can't change that. I made a lot of mistakes. So really life is just a series of moments. There is no future. It's just now. And so I really, really try to do that. But as you said, there's so many distractions, man, so many distractions. So you really have to kind of, like, every 10 minutes, write it on your arm and just kind of look at your arm, or I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that part out.
It's a challenge for everybody, I think, at any point. And you have an incredible story, an incredible life, my man. And I love that you're a pop entrepreneur. You are grinding, you're hustling, you're willing to pivot, you're willing to embrace the new services and challenges of the day with your customers and clients. And where's your favorite place for people to find more about Newcast Media as well as the iLuv podcast?
Yeah, well, Newcast Media, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can go to www.newcastmedia.com, or you can email me, kenny@newcastmedia.com. As far as iLuv podcast, same thing. They're on Facebook. Go to the website, check it out. That's really the future of me. Newcast is great, but Newcast kind of runs itself a little bit easier. Podcast it's just really my passion, and so that's really what I want to kind of shift a lot of my focus to. So go to iLuvPodcast.com. Feel free to reach out to us on the contact page, and I would love to help you explore the opportunities of getting on shows like the Be Real Show.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Check them out at Newcast Media or iLuvPodcast.com. And you have an incredible story, brother.
The love is LUV. Sorry, I just want to make sure that
absolutely. We'll put that in the show notes too. So just go and hit the show notes button and then click away. It'll be right there in the show notes for you guys and gals. Well, we want to thank you, Kenny, for coming on the show today. And like I always tell all our guests, the world is continually full of abundance, my man. And you are brought so much to your life, but it will continue to bless you. Keep putting in the good grind, my dude. Keep putting in that Papa entrepreneur spirit. And folks, you've been hanging out with Mr. Kenny Jordan and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today. And let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. Do you want to get featured on podcasts, guys? You can be a guest. And that's right. You have a story, and the people, the good folks at iLuv Podcasts, that's iLuv podcasts.com, do that every single day. This is a new company, guys, in the space of podcast agency, and they realize a lot of the people in the space are just a commodity, and they don't care. And these folks care. And I literally love Kenny and the team at iLuv Podcasts, and they are doing it right for their customers. So you guys can be a guest on a show. iLuvPodcast.com. That's iLuv podcast.com. Let's go.